Welcome to Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt podcast with your host, Sabrina Brightstar. Are you a woman who manages her own set point? Use the universal laws of the universe to raise your vibration. Be a woman who can receive more pleasure, more fun, and more joy. Together, let's claim our infinite worth. Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt is a fun way to remind yourself to mind your own business. Zero in on you and your desires. Say goodbye to judgments and people-pleasing. Join Sabrina and be a woman who can receive, create, and actualize everything you desire.
Hello and welcome. My name is Sabrina Brightstar and welcome to my first podcast ever, Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt podcast. What the heck? What does that name mean? Why would I talk about keeping your hands in your skirt? Am I going to be talking about X-rated things? Is this a class about self-pleasure? Well, maybe it would turn into that on some conversation, but no, this is a class about minding your own business, about focusing on yourself, about zeroing in on your own vibration and managing your own set point. I have been a student of all modalities. I have been a seeker my whole life. I have explored so many different teachings and teachers, and what really makes my heart sing is the universal principles found in the law of attraction. And using the tools of law of attraction, I have taken my life to a whole different level. And focusing in on this book that I'm writing, Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt, ladies, I am upgrading. I am even taking myself, I am fine-tuning my skill set of managing my own vibration. And that's why I wanted this podcast to be called Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt, ladies. It's specially designed for women. And you can be a man that has your hands in your skirt. Like, this is not a gender discrimination, but women in particular, because we're so empathic and because we have such a gift of generosity, most women overgive, because most women, they can read the room, right? Most of us are very sensitive, we're very intuitive, and we can feel when someone needs something. We can feel when someone's sad or angry or out of balance. And because our hearts are so big, we're designed that way, right? That's a feminine quality. We have such big, open, wide hearts. So many of us overgive. So many of us jump, and we're so willing to help, to support one another. And so many of us have actually overhelped to the point where it's caused our own body, our own energy field harm. They call that codependency, or they call that people pleasing. And I was raised in a household where I was taught how to be a people pleaser. And I've spent my whole life really being codependent, and then discovering about codependency, and then starting to try to find tools and strategies on how to stop keeping my hands in somebody else's hands, somebody else's skirt, and get the focus back on me and manage my own set point. Now, one of my favorite teachers, law of attraction teachers, Abraham Hicks, talks about what is the secret to the universe. Have you ever wondered what is the secret to the universe? So, law of attraction teacher Abraham Hicks says, this is the secret to the universe. Are you ready? Do you have an idea? Say it out loud what you think it is, or write it down in the comments what you think it is. What is the secret to the universe according to non-physical entities from Abraham Hicks? Well, according to Abraham Hicks, the secret to the universe is, drum roll, mind your own business. The secret to the universe is mind your own business. What? Mind your own business? What? How's that the secret? Well, when you mind your own business, when you keep your hand in your skirt, when you focus in on you, you are the creator. You are managing your own vibration. You are managing your own set point. And then you get to create whatever you want. You get to actualize whatever it is that you desire for yourself. But if you're so busy focusing on other people, if you're so busy getting your nose in someone else's business, getting your hands in someone else's pants or skirt, you're not taking care of you anymore. You're not managing you. So this podcast is designed for us women in particular to really help us zero in and become acute in mastering, in minding our own set point, our own vibration. And if we take care of our own happiness, if we take care of our own balance, if we take care of our own joy and power, we'll still have so much to give. We'll actually even have more to give because our levels are so high. So it's not about being selfish. It's not about not caring. It's about, the scriptures, they always say, people always talk about it's better to give than to receive, right? From the Bible. And I was, a full-time minister for over 10 years, for those who don't know, with Jehovah's Witnesses. And we always talked about that. It's better to give. It's better to give. It's better to give than to receive. And love your neighbor. The Bible says, love your neighbor, love your neighbor. Well, what they don't ever talk about, and it took me years and years and years for this to land, but the scriptures, if you value the scriptures, they say, love your neighbor like you love yourself. Love your neighbor like you love yourself. So the set point has to be within. So on a scale of 1 to 10, if you only love yourself a 3, how can you love your neighbor a 10? You can't. You can have the words that say you do. You can overgive what you don't have to give, and then you're depleted and you get out of balance, and then you maybe get crabby because you gave more than you had to give and you had no business giving it, right? But if you learn to raise your set point, if you learn to love yourself, if you learn to take care of yourself, right, there's going to be so much extra to give, and it will be giving from a pure place. It will be giving from an authentic place where you truly have it to give. Right? Think of overgiving like a credit card. A credit card means I don't have the money to pay for this, so I'm going to borrow the money. And then the side effect is I'm going to pay the interest, and I'm going to agree to do that. I'm going to have the side effect of paying the interest because I borrowed somebody else's money. I have a credit card or a loan, right? To borrow someone else's money to give now, have now what I actually can't afford. So if you think of that with love, if you think of that with your relationships with people, if you only have self-love a 3 and a lover or a family member or a best friend, somebody is requiring love from you a 7, you're giving what you don't have to give, and there's going to be a side effect. And the side effect's not going to be interest. The side effect is going to be your body is going to feel it. And it's going to come through. And it comes through in all different ways when we overgive, right? We can create pain. We can create emotional blockage. We can create stuck irritability. There's so many side effects of giving what we don't have to give. So this focus of this podcast is really going to be a fun journey of playing games, of co-creating with one another, of having conversations about any topic, all the topics, right? Because everything includes you, so we can talk about anything. We can talk about self-pleasure, right? Someday we'll talk about that. But we want to really start practicing, really start managing our own set point so we can raise our vibration, we can feel more empowered, we can feel self-love, we can feel unconditional self-love. And we do that by minding our own business, or as I like to say, keep your hands in your skirt, ladies. So I'm so excited about this podcast. I'm excited to be sharing this with you. One of the things I want to include in this podcast is information that I have from a multiple different resources. I have been a student, as I mentioned, a seeker my whole life, and there are certain mentors or teachers that have really inspired me, and I will be including some of their wisdom and some of their practices in this podcast. So for example, I already mentioned most popular teacher ever, Abraham Hicks. Love Abraham Hicks. I got introduced to the law of attraction maybe in around 2004, that area, 2005. Really changed my life. And especially because my background, right? I was raised Lutheran. And then in my 20s, I became one of Jehovah's Witnesses for over a decade, a full-time minister. So I had a lot of very limited points of view, very limited beliefs, very judgmental beliefs, which leads me to another teacher, another philosophy that I really, really love, and that is access consciousness. Now, access consciousness comes from Gary Douglas, and what they share and what they teach in access consciousness is consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. So what the heck happens when you start to pull judgment out of your day-to-day life? Right? So we incarnated on this planet for judgment, right? The reason we have judgment is because we have separation. We have a polarity planet, right? We live in a polarity planet. We judge things. It's good or it's bad. It's white or it's black. It's right or it's wrong. That's how we separate from the truth of who we are, right? We separate through judgment. That's how we're able to separate and stay apart from one another, right? We judge. So when you introduce the idea that consciousness includes everything and judges nothing, wow, you've just changed the game. You've just changed how you're processing and what your beliefs are. Speaking of beliefs, one of my next favorite teachers, Bashar. What does Bashar say about our purpose for being on this planet? What does Bashar teach us? Why did you incarnate? Why do you have a body on this planet? Well, Bashar says we're here for one reason. We're here on this planet to define meaning to everything. So he says the purpose of our existence, the purpose of life, has no meaning. It has no meaning. And your purpose is to assign it a meaning, to assign it whatever belief you want to have. Isn't that fascinating? So when you have a white board, think of a canvas of your belief systems. If you start functioning from a white board and you start realizing you have the power to decide what everything means, it changes everything, right? One of the things I'm really learning in my book, Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt, is in a relationship, right, with my lover. My lover will say or do something, right? And it hurts. Oh my gosh, I'm triggered. It hurts. And the reason it hurts and I'm triggered is because I've decided what he says or what he's done has this meaning. So I've decided if he loved me the way I expect him to love me, he wouldn't have said that, or his tone would be different, or his actions would be different. And so when I project my belief onto him, then I just sit in my pain body, right? Because I've assigned a meaning to his behavior, to his words, to his choices. And now I'm in my pain body. So if I would change the definition, if I would change the meaning, if I would function from what Access calls interesting point of view, he has that point of view, interesting point of view, I have that point of view. If I would neutralize the meaning, the whole story changes. Everything changes. And this is how we really see the power. I have so much power. I am so powerful. You are so powerful. You get to create whatever story you're telling. You get to tell it any way you want to tell it. Because the laws of the universe is neutral. It doesn't have a judgment if you're in a lot of pain or in a lot of happiness, right? The universal laws of momentum, they just keep giving you what your set point is. And it's not prejudiced. It doesn't think happiness is more valuable than sadness or anger. It just reflects back to you. It mirrors back to you your set point. So you don't like the way you feel, change your set point, change everything, right? Or as Abraham would say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So using these universal tools, we can really design and orchestrate and actualize the life of our desires. We can actualize whatever the hell we want. And that's exciting. And to be able to do it together, to co-create together, to have a sistership, even if it's brothers, right? But to have a community of people that know these powers, that want to include each other, want to co-create with each other to assist, to amplify our abilities, our capacities. How does it get better than that? Or as Lilu would always say, it's so juicy. Do you guys remember Lilu back in the day? So there's so many different thought leaders, so many different modalities, so many different games, so many different processes that we can do to really find and create whatever it is we've decided for ourselves. And hopefully as our set point is changing, hopefully as we're evolving and growing, then we're like, oh, this feels so much better than when I was down here. I like this better. And then you acclimate to that. And then you start functioning from that. And then your outside starts reflecting that. And then you're like, wow, like I want more. Like I want it to be even easier. I want it to be even like more joyful or playful. And so you change your set point again and you acclimate to it and so forth and so on and so on. And so Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt podcast, that's what we're going to do together. We're going to co-create, we're going to play, we're going to raise our set point, and we are going to actualize the life of our dreams. So this is Sabrina Brightstar. Thank you so much for listening.
Manage your own set point. Use tools to change your vibration. Raise your set point. Thank you for listening to the Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt podcast. Make sure to subscribe and please leave a review. We really appreciate that effort, and we'll catch you in the next episode.